So I'm here, and the next step here obviously is to reduce my rock down to at least a sand, if not a powder. Eventually I want to get the galena down to a powder, but if I can get the rock down to a sand, then it'll be easier to extract the various pieces of galena. The way I'm going to do this is with an improvised ball mill. And this is a Harbor Freight cement mixer. Got it on sale. Still paid too much for it because I'm going to beat it up pretty hard in this process. So as you can see, I've loaded it with the rock, my ore, and I've done that with large and small pieces. Now the way a ball mill works is as it tumbles over, the larger pieces fall on the smaller pieces and crush them, and then as they go up they also grind. So in a true ball mill, which this is improvised, you wouldn't so much have these large paddles in here, the stir paddles. I could take these out if they don't work. You'd have much smaller ones if you had any at all. And you would tend to run a steel shot in there. Now this I'm not going to run in there. This is an actual, probably Civil War era cannonball, and it's just a little too nice to be chunking in there. But I just wanted to show you about what they do. And they have these in various sizes, some large, some quite small. And usually a mix of sizes, and I'm hoping the rock will be its own grinding media, especially the larger pieces to the smaller ones. If that doesn't work, or if I get down to where I've just got all small, my backup plan, I have a bunch of granite river rock about potato sized. I have about a bucket full of it there, and I'll use that as a grinding media. And you know, this whole plan may not work yet. The only modifications I've done to this beyond filling it full of rock, I've replaced these upper two bolts that hold these paddles with hooks. And what I'll be using those for is to take this rubber pan that I got from a home improvement store, and it fits rather neatly in there. And then I will use the bungee strap to go across and keep this in there while it's rotating. The point being, I want the powder, the dust, the light sand, I don't want any of it blowing away. This is just to seal it in there. And maybe reduce some of the noise, which ought to be interesting. I'm not planning to sit here and film the whole thing running. I'll just do this intro and I'll come back in an hour or two after it's run a while, or when I've got some results to show, and show you from there. I figure I've got roughly 3 buckets of material, and I think this will handle a bucket a piece. So I'll have to do this at least 3 times. Once I'm done with running it, I will be using just a plain screen classifier, and I will separate the larger pieces from any sand or dust that I've made, then put the larger pieces back in and continue to run. When I eventually get it all down, I will use just a gold panning pan. The galena being so heavy and the quartz being so light, it should actually pan out fairly well, so that I can separate the quartz, the bulk of the material, from the galena, which is what I'm after, and I'll also have some pyrites and some other things in there. And then at that stage I can move on to smelting. But at this point it's just really about reducing down to just the parts that I want, and to do that I've got to grind it down and powderize it. So with that being said, I'm going to seal this up, get it going, and then we'll see you in a bit. Goes. A little noisy, but not too bad. I hope the neighbors don't complain. Alright, so I just stopped running it after about an hour. I've still got the large rocks are still in there, But the small rocks, and this is going to be kind of something to see. See, I'm getting the powder. That's exactly what I'm after. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to dump the drum out, and then I'm going to run it all through that 1/4 inch classifier that I have, and then anything above 1/4 inch is going right back in. And I will probably still later on classify it even finer and take the 1/4 inch to, let's say, 1/8 inch stuff and rerun it. But I think it'll run better if I keep things kind of separated by size. So for right now, I'm going to part this out, get the smaller stuff out of it, maybe load a little more larger stuff, and keep running. Well, it's been another hour. Let's see what we got. Yeah, I've got quite a bit of fine up here again. And once again, I've still got quite a few large rocks. So let's, that galena is pretty when it's all shined up. It's probably the largest piece I've got in there. Which right now I'm using it as to smash up the other rocks, but eventually I'm going to have to take a hammer and thin this stuff out. But I'm going to go ahead and pull this out, sort it real quick just like I did before, reload, and go again.